Oh, good afternoon. Here we are at Wellness Gathering. Another week has gone by, and we're taking responsibility for our well-being through the principles of core alignment. And we're focusing on moving into our mission. And Lynn is going to lead us into another fun-filled half hour.
Yay. Yes.
Yay.
So last week we looked at what's holding us back, and this week we're going to be looking at rich beliefs that motivate us. So we're going to start with a question. The question for today is, what would you do if you were given $1 million? So you can say the question aloud and then go with the first thing that comes up.
And
So
where
my
you're
name
from.
is Lynn,
And
and
you're
I'm
from
in
Calgary.
Calgary, Alberta. And what I would do if I were given $1 million. Well, the first thing that comes up for me is somehow expand it out, like try and invest it or do something that makes it be more than $1 million. Because I think with $1 million, it reminds me of investments, and I often don't put a lot of attention on the things that I invest into. Like I just live day to day, so that's what I would do. And I'd also like to I have the dream of paying off my mortgage, the endless mortgage. So how about you, Madeline?
I'm Madeline. I'm in Calgary, Alberta. And if I was to be given $1 million, well, I'm with you. I would invest a large portion of it because I think making more out of it is imperative. I would also buy a house, and not a big house, like we rent. So I would like to own a house, just for, the rent not to be going up every month. To have it be a little more stable in a unstable environment. And I think the rest would be, sharing with my family.
Awesome. Cool. Olive?
I was to I'm Olive. I'm in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. If I was given $1 million, I think I would just spend it right away. I'd give it to I'd divide it up 4 ways. I'd keep a quarter of it. I'd give a quarter to each of my 3 kids. I think if I sat on that too long and thought about it, it would give me anxiety.
How about you, Dawn Marie?
I'm Dawn Marie, and I am from Sacramento, California. And if I had $1 million, wow, I would definitely give 10% to my church and to some local organizations. I would definitely pay off whatever little bills I have and buy a house with the ocean in my front yard. Oh my gosh. And then the rest, I would just, as the need arises, I would just bless people and not have to worry about spending. I can spend it on whatever I wanted to. And that's pretty much what I would do.
Awesome. Cool. How about you, Lorraine?
I'm Lorraine. I'm from British Columbia. And if I was given $1 million, and you look at that $1 million, it doesn't buy a hell of a lot.
Mhm.
I mean, you wouldn't get a house by the ocean in California with it, I tell you. And
I don't know. A million something.
well, it would be a nice kickstart. But
Mhm.
I'm quite aware of investments, and I think it's very important to know where you're investing the money. I put a lot of it just for my living expense, everyday living expense, without relying on the Canada pension. But I'd have to do a lot of educating myself about the safe investments. Because you can't, I'm right now I'm more aware of where you're investing money than ever before, because it's very, so I'd probably give it to my kids.
Don't worry about
Or I'd spend it until I paid for the farm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Awesome. Yes. Yeah, so what we're gonna be doing today is we are gonna be discovering what beliefs are motivating you towards more riches in your life, however you define that. And we're gonna be really recognizing some of the beliefs that we have around money and what it means to us. And support ourselves in adding more riches to your life through focusing on this concept, because money is one of those subjects that often we don't, well, we either avoid or we put in the background or we don't look at. So what's the first thing that you think of when I say the word money or ask about money? Don Marie?
Mm. The first thing that I think of when I heard you say money was all my needs being met.
Mm.
There used to be a saying when I was involved with the local ministry is all of my needs are met and I'm out of debt.
Nice. Needs being met and out of debt.
Mm.
Cool. How about you, Madeline?
First thing I think of when I think of money, I think of jackpots. And
Cool.
magic money. Yeah.
Magic money and jackpots. Cool. What about you, Olive?
The first thing I think of is that it's a bit of a taboo subject, I think, with my generation. You certainly never discussed your wage or your raise or how much money you had in the bank. And I still tend to be that way. I can remember my kids asking me how much money I made. And I said, well, not nearly as much as I'm worth. And that was the end of the topic.
Good
Nice.
answer.
How about you, Lorraine?
When I think of the word money, of course, the first thing is lack. How am I gonna pay for this visa bill that's coming up? But that's, what is it, the expenditure, future expenditure or something? And
Yeah.
I've got affirmations about money, about, because money's just energy.
Mhm.
And but being raised without money and lived most of my life just wondering how we're going to pay the bills and things like that. But yeah, it's a very up and down thought process. It's a lack of, maybe I just visualize becoming money, how to become money. Thank
Yeah,
goodness,
that's right.
thank goodness we took those courses. I got the workbook, how to become money.
Yeah.
So it is an up and down feeling, and when you think of money,
Yeah.
but I can give it
Yeah.
away. I feel I do a lot of charity donation, and that's satisfying as well. Even if I just squeak out a little bit, at least I know I'm contributing to a charity.
Mhm.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, when I think about money, I mean, I think about, well, Canadian money, which is so colorful. I think about cash. That's what I think about. I think when I think money, I think cash. I don't think typically anything else. And because Canadian money is so colorful, I think that's sort of the first thing that comes
And
up. It's more
worthless.
play, yeah, cash, exactly. And then games. I think of games and Monopoly, and so we're gonna look at this. So when you think about this, so we have needs being met, we've got magic money and jackpots, we've got a taboo subject generally. We have lack, and how am I gonna pay for this, and just the up and down. And then we have, the playing games or the color of money. So if you think about, what else do you think of when I when we talk about money? What else comes up for you? Madeline?
I think part of my judgment around money is prominent in my thinking. Like when I look at something that is original, I think that's worth money. But when I think of something that is just a clone of something else and they still want tons of money, I have a big judgment about it. Like the value is in the originality. And and I think I struggle with that because I see a lot of people who are enamored of things that are less than in my eyes, right? And yet they will spend big bucks on something, and it's I just don't get it a lot of times. So I think I have a lot of questions around it, a lot of value questions, a lot of what it means to me kind of value questions. I don't know. It's a
Cool.
questioning thing.
Awesome. How about you, Lorraine?
What another thing I think about money. It's easy to spend.
Yeah. Olive, what do you think?
And I
about
don't
money?
deny if I want something, I buy it.
Mhm,
Got
mhm.
it. Olive?
The other thing that came to mind when you said what else does money mean? Money and placing value on things. Kind of an airy-fairy concept. In Regina recently, someone discovered a box of unopened hockey cards from 1978. And of course, the big thing was that they were unopened. The box was sealed. Well, that box was sold for $5 million.
Whoa.
Wow. So it's,
And hockey cards, I could care less about hockey cards. I wouldn't spend $5, never mind 5 million, on a box of hockey cards. I guess the thing is there's several Wayne Gretzky rookie cards in there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, value, hey? How about you, Dawn
Value.
Marie? Yeah.
Well, the other thing that I think of if I had that amount of money is I would just be free to spend it on whatever I wanted. I would shop and not worry about, if I had any leftover, what bill am I going to need to pay? So just that thought of having the luxury of not having to worry about, am I going to run out? I would just budget it in such a way that it would last me and until I checked out of here. However, I would want to spend it because I can't take it with me. So I'd want to enjoy it while I'm here.
Got it, got it. Yeah, yes, it's true. So there's a bit of a process we could do, and just to really look at our beliefs around money, because we all have those beliefs that come up. And often the first time we ask the question, that first answer comes from our that knee gut reaction. It comes from our subconscious. It's sort of our unconscious programming around money that we usually have, gathered from the past, from maybe the people that we learned it from in our lives, and we adopt it. So what do you think is a belief around money that you have that it has supported you? Lorraine?
My belief around money that supported me, that you really have to, what supports me is you have to be aware of how much money you're going to need till death do you part type of thing. And I'm quite aware of that. And but on the same hand, I don't mind spending money where I enjoy it, like food.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. How about you, Olive?
A belief that I have surrounding money comes from my mother, and that's not to gamble with it. She was very much against gambling. My dad loved to gamble. He loved to play poker, and my mom was the total opposite. So I've kind of what my mom trained me or taught me as I've taken to heart. I don't gamble.
Got it, got it, got it. How about you, Madeline?
That supports me. I think that
Mm.
it isn't the money, it's the vibration of what the drive is to do or have or be.
Mm,
I think that's a bigger drive than the actual dough.
yeah.
So to feel supported and kind of know that the, universe has our backs, that to me is a big part of it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. How about you, Don Marie?
Well, my belief around money that supports me is, especially at this stage of my life and only having to take care of myself, is that I don't have to be stingy with money. Growing up with my children and being married, I just always had to budget everything. And now I'm at this place where if I go to the grocery store and buy what I need and what I want, sometimes I have to check myself, but most of the time it's like, you know what? I deserve this. So I'm
Mm.
okay with spending in the manner that I do.
Yeah.
So that's my belief, is that I don't have to be stingy with it.
Yeah. I'm much the same. I tend to just get what I need, and I don't think about whether I have it or not. I often think that it's coming in and it's going out, it's coming in, it's going out, and what creative energy can I be to keep that going?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but there is this sense of value, and what one values can be very different from what another person values, right? Like the hockey cards, like it's like, really? Wow. So, all right, well, let's just go with this now. So what is a richer belief that you want to have?
Richer belief.
A richer belief around money, or just a richer belief from our conversation. What is a richer belief that you would like to have? Madeline?
A richer belief I would like to have that I can continue to live my life with assuredness.
Mm. Nice. Cool. How about you, Olive?
Oh, a richer belief that I have, I think, would be to not have to worry about money at this stage of my life. There's many people my age and older who are worried. They're relying on the food bank. They are sleeping on their sister's couch. Yeah, I just don't want to have to worry about it.
So to live without worrying about it?
To live without worry about money. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, got it.
Mm-hmm.
Don Marie?
Um, I would have to go along with what Olive is saying. I don't want to have to worry about it. I want to be able to live my best life, and knowing that whatever it is that I need or desire, I can go and get it. I don't have to sit back and try to calculate the checkbook to see if it's going to fit, or if I have to put it on some type of a layaway plan, or if I have to, you know, budget it out. I can just, if I see it, go buy it. If I want a new car, go buy it. Hey, take care of everything.
Got it. How about you, Lorraine?
I'm sitting here thinking, what I have done in my lifetime with very little money amazes me. When you are in your 20s, you have $250 in your pocket, you buy a one-way ticket to England and work for 6 months, and you get a little money saved up so you can buy a ticket back home again. And then you hitchhike along for 6 months on less than, I don't think I had $150. That's all I had left. And yet I had this experience, ran out of money, got another job, I am absolutely blown away what you can do with very little money. And I think that richness of the experience of it, those things, those days, and even today, just I think that's a rich experience, feeling or idea I have of money. You can do very little with, you can do an awful lot, experience an awful lot with very little money.
Mm,
Mhm.
mm.
That's my take.
Yes, yeah.
And it still
Well,
blows
and
my
part of it,
mind.
yeah, and it, and it's part of it is giving credit where credit is due.
Mhm.
And where credit is due is in our creative endeavors. It's in the value we put on ourselves, right? It's in the, like you said, Madeline, the magic money, right? Um,
Yeah.
and noticing the ups and downs, and what else? The freedom, right? Even not gambling it away,
Mhm.
right? All those things are the things that support us in knowing our value. And because ultimately I think it's our value, our own value is what puts the value into the money that we have or not have. So what way can we add more value to our lives through having more richer beliefs around just the simple concept of money? Yeah. So our intention for today was to recognize what beliefs that we have around money and how they might be motivating us, and also, what beliefs could be limiting us. So, often those beliefs can either do limit or motivate us. So what will you take with you from this conversation that'll support you until we talk again? Dawn Marie?
I will take away the fact that you don't need to have a lot of money to live a happy life. You can make it work with what you have. When you have an overabundance, sometimes it can cause a lot of heartbreak, can cause a lot of grief. So I like what Lorraine is saying, is that, you really don't have to have a lot of money in order to really enjoy my life, is what I would take away from this.
Olive?
What I will take away is that you need to live within your means. You need to know how much money you have and live within that.
Lorraine?
What I take away from this conversation till we meet again about, I think having the gratitude that you are able to live a very contented life with what you've got. It'd be nice to be otherwise, but as long as the bills are being paid and you've got a roof over your head, you've got to have I have a lot of gratitude.
Mhm.
Yeah. Madeline?
What I will take away that will support me until we talk again, that we create our own contentment, joy, bliss, all of the things, and really money has nothing to do with it. It really is just our inner, or how we perceive our lives. And that's got a lot of power.
Mm,
Mhm.
yeah. Totally. Yeah, well, what I take away is, well, this idea that it is really good to know what I need. Like I do need to know where I'm at and what I need, and that creates a foundation for having my needs be met. And it's money is just a concept. It is just energy. It's a very, it's a energy that our current reality really puts a lot of value to. But ultimately it's the value that I'm placing on myself that places the value on what I'm doing. And so I take away that if I want to add value to my life, I'm just going to look at where I'm putting my attention, because
Mhm.
that's what I'm valuing, and that's where my energy is flowing, and that's what I'm creating in my life. And if I'm adding value to other people's lives, then and as well as my own, then I know it's going to come back. So what will you take with you that'll support you for the rest of your life, Lorraine?
what will take for support me the rest of my life. I think it's just the conversation. I think just mentioning the $1 million, it set a level of anxiety, uncertainty. And then at the end of our conversation, it's more about ourselves, our own personal value. So it's shifted down again. Another shifting experience.
Mm,
There we go.
mhm.
Don Marie?
So what I will take away from this topic that will help support me for the rest of my life is to stay open, because if you keep your heart right and you live right and you ask for your needs to be met, there is nothing that the source won't do to provide it for you. So I'm very grateful because I've seen that happen time and time again in my life, is that if I don't worry about it, I just allow it to be what it's supposed to be, I'll be taken care of.
Hmm. Yeah. Natalie?
I am, what I will take away from this conversation that will support me for the rest of my life is the gratitude of all these words of wisdom, because that's for sure a pretty wise attitude. So everybody has some pretty really wise things, and that'll set my course.
So, how about you, Olive?
I will go with the old cliche, money doesn't buy happiness.
There you go. Cool. Awesome. Well, what I take away is, well, it's like the creative energy that moves through all things. Yeah, I tend to agree with Don Marie. It's like, if I just really tune in, that I am always taken care of. And if I am feeling limited or somehow scared or frightened, it's just an opportunity for me to, you know, reflect and move beyond that, or give it over. And clearly there's so much abundance available, and it's just only myself that limits me in receiving it. So yes, what else is
Yes.
possible?
Okay,
Mhm.
well, thank you very much, Lynn. And
Mhm.
we've got choices, eh? What we choose to do.